Hi, my name's Steve and welcome to the Seaside Allotment channel. And it's an important day for me today because I'm doing two really important jobs. First one is I'm taking a lot of the covers off the cold frames and the low tunnels, and that really marks the transition for me to kind of real true spring weather. The second thing is that I'm planting the onions. So almost all my onions I grow from seed, so I've just prepared the beds and I shall get on with planting those soon. I've hardened the onions off a little bit, but they are going to go under fleece as well, so that's not hugely important. You might think, well, hasn't it been spring for the last few weeks? And yes, it has, but there's been no rain, and so there's been really no advantage to taking the covers off. But we are forecast maybe a few millimetres of rain, so I thought, yeah, I might as well just take them off and just take advantage of that rain, because we've still got no water on the allotments, although I've been told that we might be getting it within the next few days, which is absolutely fantastic news. So let's get on. So these are the onions that we're going to draw from today. These are Riceburger 3 per cell, Riceburger 1 per cell, Ailsa Craig 2 or 3 per cell, and Zebrun mainly 1 per cell. And we've got a lot of Zebrun as well for Jennie's plot, which are 3 per cell. So let's quickly talk about the way that I grow onions. So basically I like to module sow. The reason I like to do that is because I like generally to have more than one onion per module. And I like that for a number of reasons. One is it allows me to increase the density, it allows me to grow a lot of small onions in a small space. We like small onions because we only use typically a small onion a day. We have a lot of problems with onion fly here, and so we water with nematodes to control that. And obviously the smaller the space, the more highly densely packed they are, the less nematodes we need, or the more nematodes we can lay down from, and so the more effective they are. And less watering in general, although obviously you do need to water when you plant densely. The amount of water you need to put down is a bit less than if you've got them spread out over a wide area. And what else? Are there any other reasons? Oh yeah, so I can plant them younger. So when you plant multiple onions in a single cell, the root ball forms quicker, and so you can get them out without disrupting the root ball too much when the plants are younger. And I like to plant them as young as possible, partly because I think they just get off early and grow really nicely early on in the season now before it gets really hot. But also because I don't have the space basically to keep onions growing in the polytunnel or at home under cover. So that's the general reasons why I'm doing it module sown. We did have a failure on the red fen onion seeds. We really like red onions, and so that was a bit of a blow because that was my total red onion sowing batch. Now I have subsequently sown some North Holland Blood Red, but I also bought some onion sets. So I don't normally like to buy onion sets, but we bought those. But we're not planting those on the allotment, we're planting those at home. So I'll show you that another day. So I'll show you where we're doing the planting. Here's a quick look at the plot. As I said, I'm taking the covers off today. And I'm not taking all of them off though, because some of them have got early tender crops in them, which obviously can't stand the risk of a frost. So I'm leaving those on. So about half of them will come off today. And we're heading over there. So that's the bed I'm planting into. That had a few of my kales in it. They've all finished now, obviously. In fact, they're all piled up down there. And I gave it a really good soaking. And I'll just quickly talk about how I prepared that bed. So I prepared this bed, basically took all the, I don't normally take the roots of the brassicas out, but I took all the roots of the brassicas out of here because obviously they're going to get in the way of the onions. And then I laid down some Marshall's Organic Extra, which is a cow manure, I think, farmhouse manure. mixed with seaweed and composted, and that's a pretty nice feed. I like that a lot. And a little sprinkling of seaweed meal, and then I mulched on top with about 1 inch of spent mushroom compost, and then I gave it, well actually before I did the mulching, I gave it a really good water, then put the mulch on top, then put this cover on top. So let's take it off, see what we've got. So I'm quite pleased with this. Just needs breaking up a little bit. Now it's nice and moist, but it's a reasonably nice, well, I don't need a seed bed obviously, but a nice area to plant into. No weeds, no slugs, so yeah, that's looking pretty good. So I'm going to get on with that. I'm just going to use a dibber to dib some holes. I'll start 7-inch centres and I'll go down to 4-inch, where depending on the density. But before I do these onions, I'm going to get these covers off. I'll show you what I do with these. So most of these are just cold frame tops, and they just unscrew, and I store them at the back of the polytunnel. So I put these IBC tanks in. I left a gap down the side here so I can slide the cold frame tops in, and they basically just fasten up against that pallet fence down there. So everything's secured in place down here now. These are the mesh covers that also go on the cold frames, and these are the plastic ones, and I just hold them in place with bungee cords so they don't blow away. So these are the frames without the covers. We've got beetroot, spinach, lettuce, and most importantly we've got the mulched peas at the back there, so I just need to pop a frame in for those. And then more lettuce, looking lovely, and my first bed of outdoor carrots. You might just be able to see them germinating there, and then some red ruble kale, mare's tail of course. So that's the first half of the bed prepared. I always like to make the holes slightly bigger than the plugs, so the onions just go a little bit deeper down towards the moist ground. I'll give them a water in when I've finished. So these are the single onions, 4-inch spacing. It's the rice burger done, and hopefully you can see these are in little depressions in the soil, and as I said, that serves two purposes. One, it gets the roots deeper down under this spent mushroom compost mulch, closer to the moisture, but also it means that when you water, the water kind of just aggregates in these little depressions as well. So that's all the onions planted up. So in total I've got about 400 onions here, and I think that's in about 4 square metres, and I'd normally aim for about 480 onions in 4 square metres, but that's all I had. So I've got another 200 here, and these are the overwintering onions, and these are really starting to bulb up quite nicely now, so I'm pretty pleased with those. These are tough ball and stir on, so that makes 600. So Jennie and John have been planting onions as well, and we've got zebrun, shallots down the outside edges, and spring onions, and they're Leela down the centre. And Leela is a bulbing onion, but we grow it as a spring onion. It's a purple one, it's really lovely. It does tend to bolt, I think, if you sow it, if you leave it to grow on as a bulbing onion. And then we've got some shallots, which are looking a bit worse for wear down the outside edges, there and there. And then more Leela spring onions down the centre. And I've got one more tray of spring onions there, they're white Lisbon, they're going home. Complete the Allen picture. We've got the elephant garlic and the garlic down there. So the last job of the day is to just put a little frame up to support the fleece. I always use fence pins for everything, and old rotting canes, that aren't any use for anything else, but they're perfectly strong enough to support a bit of fleece. So let's get that on. So there we go, that's all fleeced up, just clipped on with these clips, which generally is good enough, and obviously not really needed at this time with it being so sunny, but who knows what the weather will bring over the next month. So it's on anyway. Yeah, that's me done for the day. Hope you liked this quick video, and I'll see you soon.